So Sean Strickland versus Duplessis. What really happened, and why did this fight look so much different than the last fight? Let's talk about that a little bit. You can chalk up Dricus' dominant performance over Sean to one word: diversity. And I don't mean diversity like DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. I'm talking about diversity in attack. Okay? You look at someone like Sean Strickland, the style that he has worked for him to the degree that it has gotten him up towards the top of his division. Fair play. Okay? But when you get up towards the very top, people start to figure other fighters out. And fighters and teams start to watch film. They start to break down fighters. They start to look for patterns. They start to look for weaknesses. Okay? And Sean Strickland has a couple of glaring weaknesses that obviously Duplessis and his team exploited. Okay? The jab of Sean Strickland is a great jab. It's a great jab. But you take away the jab with leg kicks. Your long-range weapons takes away the jab. Dricus Duplessis doesn't have to have a jab as good as Sean Strickland's when he's got leg kicks, body kicks, high kicks, which he utilized numerous times throughout this fight. Okay? And then, in addition to that, let's circle back to that first word that is the catalyst for why Dricus dominated Sean Strickland the way he did. Because let's be clear, it was pure domination. Okay? A far cry from the first fight where people were screaming robbery and it was too close to call and this and no. Dricus put a nail in that coffin, and he did that with a diverse attack. Okay? And when you have a guy like Sean Strickland who only has a few elements of the game that he uses, and he uses those few elements very well, okay? And because he doesn't take lots of risks, he also is known to typically be a guy that doesn't take a lot of damage because of that, okay? And in the first fight, Dricus Duplessis set back more and played Sean Strickland's game a little more at range, okay? This time he did not do that. He took the fight to Sean Strickland, and it's hard to be on the offense when you're constantly on the defense. Sean Strickland was constantly, consistently on the defensive during that fight because of the diversity of attack by Dricus Duplessis. He and his team created the perfect strategy and perfect game plan, not only for Dricus as a fighter and as an athlete, catering to what his strengths are with the cardio, being a strong individual. They also created the perfect style to defeat someone who is a 2-3 trick pony like Sean Strickland, okay? Sean Strickland already only has 2, 3, maybe 4 on a good day attacks and weapons that he uses, okay? And Dricus Duplessis and his team amped up the diversity of his attack so much that it completely shut down the already limited offense that Sean Strickland has. Okay? They were kicking to the leg over and over. Finally, when he started thinking about the leg, they start going to the body. As soon as he starts dropping his elbow to protect the body, then he goes up high with the question mark kick. Then the next time, he'll just crash in and do a spinning back elbow. After that, a 1-2. Then he'll switch stances to the southpaw, then go over the top of Strickland's guard and hit him with a right hook. After that, crashes in, spinning back fist. After that, spinning back kick. I mean, the number of attacks and strikes that Dricus Duplessis threw in this fight versus the variance of strikes thrown by Sean Strickland is absolutely no comparison. None. And it kept Sean Strickland guessing the whole time. He didn't know if he was coming or going high, going low, going in, going out. He probably thought the ref was hitting him. And it showed masterful game planning by Dricus Duplessis, and it showed a lack of adequate game planning by Sean Strickland and Eric Nixick. Now, listen, I know Eric Nixick is a great coach. I'm not throwing off on that guy. I think that Sean was not able to follow the plan. I think that he didn't implement his plan. I think that he was so overwhelmed by what Dricus was doing that he wasn't able to put forth the offense that they had developed for him. Okay? And that's partially and mainly due to Duplessis. And you got to give Duplessis credit for the fact that Sean Strickland was hesitant. Sean Strickland was not able to put forth his offense because he looked like the same Sean Strickland that fought Duplessis the last time. He looked like the same Sean Strickland that fought Paulo Costa. He looked like the same Sean Strickland that has fought every fight he's ever fought. Same guy. No changes. Now, are we to assume that Eric Nixick and Sean Strickland and team did no sort of game planning whatsoever? No, they did. They did. And you saw Eric imploring, begging Sean Strickland in between rounds. Oh, you got to do this. You got to throw more offense. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to go after it. He wanted to, but he couldn't. He couldn't find a time and a place to go because Dricus Duplessis kept him constantly on the defensive. And when you're constantly on the defensive and you don't know where strikes are coming from, you can't be offensive, right? And it was just a genius fight plan by Dricus Duplessis. And I say again, that performance, you can strike it up to one word: diversity. All right? And I know he had the great Achilles quote after that: is there no one else? And word is, according to Cormier, he was looking at Alex Pereira. Based on what I saw last night, I'm not sure Alex Pereira beats him either. I'm sure that's a hot take. I'm sure I'm going to get hate in the comments for saying that. I don't think he does. I don't think he beats him. I don't think anybody in the division right now is ready for that wealth of diversity of attack. There's no one, and listen, he might look like the retard on the short bus. Fair enough. Doesn't have to be pretty. Okay? It's effective, right? And I don't care how it looks. It works for him. That style works for Duplessis. He's giving guys too much to think about in there, and they're too busy defending to create any of their own offense. And you got to give him credit that he was able to maintain the cardio at middleweight, a guy who's also very well muscled, also able to push the pace like that, to push the cardio like that. Even in the fourth round, where Dricus was starting to slow down a little bit just from the sheer ass kicking he was putting on Sean Strickland. Just when you thought he was going to slow down and maybe, not be able to really, that Sean was maybe going to start being able to take over. And so, nah, if he slowed down at all, it was not enough to make a difference. And plus, on top of it, Sean was weary. By that time, he got his nose broken. By that time, he had taken so much damage himself. That, in and of itself, slows you down, hurts your conditioning, weighs you down. Just a genius strategy and genius performance by Dricus Duplessis. And I say again, you can chalk it up to one word: diversity. And I think last night that pure domination showed why Dricus is the champion, and showed why Dricus may be that way for a while. He was already good. I mean, look at the guys he's already defeated, from Israel Adesanya to Robert Whitaker to Sean Strickland twice, right? But when I saw him last night, it occurred to me that even as champion, he has still improved. He was the more improved in that fight last night, not the contender, not Sean Strickland, right? He, Dricus, was the most improved. So that lets you know, as a champion, he understands the concept that you can't just rest on your laurels, you know. And I think if Sean Strickland wasn't as good defensively as he is, I have no doubt that Dricus would have gotten him out of there. He tried. Wasn't for lack of effort, you know. And you can only give Sean Strickland and his head movement, and Sean Strickland's head movement and his defensive posture, you got to give him credit there as the reason Dricus couldn't finish him. But I don't know who's going to beat this dude at middleweight. I know Hamzat's out there. I don't know who's going to beat this dude at middleweight. I'm just being honest. Now, you know, I know that's a hot take. I know you also have to consider, when you give Dricus that much credit, there's also a flip side to that coin. You have to look at who he was fighting. You have to take a little bit of that and point it towards Sean Strickland and say, why was he able to dominate you like this? And I think it speaks to the fact that Sean Strickland is not getting better. He's not improving his game, whereas Dricus is. And he implemented his will on Sean Strickland, right? So you have to look and say, well, you know, Sean Strickland could have done better to kind of thwart that diversity of attack, but it would have been with just more offense on him, on his perspective, you know, more offense from him. And he wasn't able to do that. He didn't do that for whatever the reason was. I believe it was because of the diversity of attack by Dricus. But I don't know who beats this guy at middleweight, you know. And it's fair to say that, well, that was just Sean Strickland. That was just a bad performance by Sean Strickland. I think it looked like a bad performance by Sean Strickland, and I think it was made to be a bad performance by Sean Strickland and made to look that way because of the diversity of Dricus's attack. He kept Sean Strickland guessing that whole fight. If somebody's going to beat this guy, they are going to have to figure out a way to slow him down and stifle his offense. And the best defense is a really, really good offense. And Sean Strickland was not able to get over that hump. Somebody's going to have to come in there and throw a lot more offense at Dricus Duplessis in order to beat him. You can't go in there a 1, 2, 3 trick pony like Sean Strickland and expect to beat a guy with that diversity of attack. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought of the fight. Like the video if you would, comment down below, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. All right, peace.